once again to Daily Manna, our featured presentation brought to you each day by way of Saint Mark AME Church here in Orlando. That's designed to feed your faith and help you to starve your doubts. My name is Terrence Gray, and I'm humbly honored to be both teacher and presenter for our subject matter this week. We are studying inside of 1 Corinthians chapter number 7. We want to pick up at verse 32 and read down to verse 35. Paul reiterates the point that he has regarding his stance on marriage, which his stance is he really prefers people not to marry. And then that might not be something you're well aware of, but those of you who are real students of the Bible, Paul says, even from Jump Street, from the very first verse inside of chapter 7, that he desires, he longs, he would want persons not to marry. He comes back to discuss this in verse 32. I would like you to be free from concern. An unmarried man is concerned about the Lord's affairs, how he can please the Lord. But a married man is concerned about the affairs of the world, how he can please his wife, and his interests are divided, clearly stated. An unmarried woman or virgin is concerned about the Lord's affairs. Her aim is to be devoted to the Lord in both body and spirit. But a married woman is concerned about the affairs of this world, how she can please her husband. I'm saying this for your own good, not to restrict you, but that you may live in a right way in undivided devotion to the Lord. Now listen, I need for you to hear my heart, because I've always enjoyed my discussion in premarital counseling regarding this subject matter. And that is, you need to marry a person or be connected to a person that allows there to be no divisiveness or no division of your heart, your minds, your emotions, or your spirit. A person that values your walk with God, that gives affirmation to God for you being God's servant. When people start discussing unequally yoked and they want to make it all about whether or not a person is inside the church or not, it's more than that. It's a matter of whether or not a person can connect emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually, and can they basically also agree on issues such as finance, such as family, such as the right to have faith, as well as an opportunity how they deal with their family in totality. People oftentimes forget that what we have to do is learn how to come together, and we do the coming together by way of communication. And here, and Paul says, he says, I'm concerned about a person being divided. Paul's operating from the stance that when one gets married, that they solely must now focus in on their spouse. How can I please you? How can I make you happy? How are you then content? How then are you satisfied? How is it that it can take place between us that we're okay with each other? And that is a challenge for a person who's involved in a marriage or marital union. They got to work at it. They got to figure it out. It's a challenge, to say the least. But a challenge that ought to be warmly welcomed if you really love and care about the person. Because ultimately, we forgot or we forget, as Paul does in some strange way, the two shall become one flesh. So if two people start functioning as one, then it's not an object of division, but it becomes an object of unity, in which persons are able to go before God together. They can love each other, and that love can be strengthened and blessed by God, because God, in the midst of it, makes up the differences that they may have. God, in the midst of it, brings their disconnections into harmonious union. God, in the midst of it, makes up the difference in the finances. God, in the midst of it, makes up the difference in their intimacy. God, in the midst of it, makes up the difference in their parenting. God does make up the difference. So I want to encourage you, as you hear Paul in his struggle, and it is a struggle for Paul in his trying to deal with persons who are getting married. He is struggling with it. Don't fool yourself. He does view it as a person being divided, being not in sync, not in harmony, not in union with God. And when one is not giving their all to God, Paul finds himself in intrepidation or pain. But Paul comes right back, ultimately forgetting that marriage can also be a place of unification. Husband, wife, coming together, united in such a way that they're able to bring glory and honor to our God as revealed through Jesus Christ. And in so doing, it allows the believer to be one with God as well. In one house, serving one God, honoring one faith and one baptism, because the two have become one flesh. May I ask you, children of God, to never be afraid to get married. Never be afraid to build life with someone, but just make sure that the person you connect to is open to be at one, become one, stay one with you. And if that happens, then I got a feeling everything is going to be all right. Once again, I'm not out of word, I'm simply out of time, but I'm humbly thankful for your presence and your time today. Look forward to seeing you soon. Till then, God bless.